What would happen if all the animals on Earth could choose their sex? Have you ever heard the news of a male bird laying an egg? No, it's not the beginning of a joke. It's an actual scientific finding. An Australian kookaburra, officially tagged as male, one day decided that, yes, laying an egg was the right thing to do. Scientists stared at it the same way you look at your cat trying to open the fridge. Confused, astonished, and mostly hungry for answers. So today we ask the ultimate crazy maybe question. What would happen if all the animals on Earth could choose their sex? Zoology turns into a sitcom. In zoology, there's already a phenomenon called gynandromorphism, when an animal is half male and half female. Imagine a bird with bright blue male feathers on one side and green female feathers on the other. Basically, Rio Carnival in one single body. But if this were possible for all species, nature would turn into a sitcom. Penguins, famous for their loyalty, could switch roles like in a soap opera. Honey, today I'll hatch the egg. Tomorrow I'll go back to being male. Polar bears, already stressed out by melting ice, would also have to ask themselves daily, who am I today? Result, the polar bear isn't white anymore. It's a confused marshmallow. And the lions? Males already sleep 20 hours a day. If they could become females whenever they wanted, they'd say, oh, finally no hunting, I'll just nap. The others will deal with it. Ethology in chaos. From the perspective of ethology, the science of animal behavior, everything would collapse. Group dynamics, flocks, and colonies depend on sex roles and reproduction. Picture a flock of seagulls. Today, half male, half female. Tomorrow, 90% females, all arguing because no one wants to be the male. Or a herd of deer. Suddenly, they all decide to be males. Autumn turns into a WWE arena with antlers smashing everywhere, with no females to impress. A real season of horns, nature's gender-bending prose. And don't think this is just sci-fi. In nature, many animals already do this. Clownfish. If there's no female around, a male takes over and becomes the mother. So Nemo didn't just lose his mom. His dad could have turned into one. Snails. They're hermaphrodites, both male and female at the same time. Forget Tinder. They've got the ultimate dating hack. Frogs and reptiles. Some can change sex depending on temperature during development. Basically, it's hot today. Fine, I'll be female. So if a few species already have this power, imagine if all animals could press the change sex button whenever they wanted. A global mess. At that point, zoology becomes a nightmare for scientists. Field notes would be impossible. Species, duck. Sex, unknown. Mood, unstable. And documentaries would be hilarious. David Attenborough saying, here we see the majestic male. Oh wait, no, female. Hold on, nope, male again. Cut the scene, please. The result? A planet full of crazy animals ignoring all the rules while humans just try to keep up. The final twist. So, what if all animals on Earth could freely decide their sex? We'd live on a psychedelic planet where biology turns into a roulette wheel. Maybe nature's trying to tell us something simple. Stop trying to put us in boxes. We animals do what we want, and we're fine with it. If you loved this wild ride with kookaburras laying eggs, fluid penguins, and lazy lions, hit that subscribe button to Crazy Maybe. Because, let's be honest, if one day your dog tells you, guess what? From now on, I'm Carla. You'll want to say you heard it here first. Species imbalance gone wild. Okay, but let's take it one step further. What if this ability led to species imbalance? Picture this. Kangaroos. Suddenly, they all decide to become females. Result? Millions of pouches ready for joeys. But no males to balance things out. Australia would turn into a giant trampoline park of bouncing chaos. Deer. What if they were almost all males? The forest becomes a 24/7 UFC cage match with antlers clashing, while the few females watch from the sidelines, eating leaves, laughing at the drama. Crocodiles. Imagine a generation choosing to be all male. Reproduction? Gone. Rivers filled with bachelor crocs just binge watching Netflix. Sulking. Lions. If almost all of them were male, they'd spend 90% of the time sleeping and 10% fighting. Meanwhile, zebras would throw rave parties on the savannah, completely carefree. This would throw the whole ecological balance into chaos. Too many of one sex in a species could lead to sudden extinctions, while other populations explode out of control. The food chain would stop being a cycle and turn into an all-you-can-eat buffet gone mad. So, a world where animals freely choose their sex would be not only hilarious, but also dangerously unstable. The morale? Nature knows how to keep balance way better than we do. And maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't give too much freedom of choice to crocodile bachelors. The food industry in total panic. And now, let's talk about the poor folks who'd suffer the most. Farmers, chefs, and the entire food industry. Imagine being a chicken farmer. One day you've got 1,000 hens ready to lay eggs. The next morning? Surprise! They all decided to become roosters. Result? Instead of eggs for the market, you've got 1,000 birds screaming at sunrise like a heavy metal concert. Goodbye, omelets. Hello, insomnia. Now think about pig farms. You raise them for classic Sunday roast. But suddenly they all flip to one sex. You go from a balanced farm to either a fraternity of lazy hogs rolling in mud or a sorority of sows demanding maternity leave. Try explaining that to your butcher. And the seafood industry? Imagine going fishing and every sardine suddenly identifies as not available for canning. Canned tuna factories shut down, supermarkets have empty shelves, and suddenly anchovies cost more than Bitcoin. Chefs would lose their minds. At KFC, welcome to Kentucky, fried, wait. Are these chickens today? Or are they turkeys now? At sushi restaurants, this tuna roll is actually salmon? No, wait. It changed again. Now it's crab. Sorry, chef's special surprise. Michelin-starred restaurants? Forget gourmet. Every dish becomes mystery meat deluxe. The ultimate disaster. McDonald's. Imagine the menu board. Big Mac, depending on what the cow decided to be this morning. So in a world where animals switch sexes freely, the food industry wouldn't just face shortages. It would face a full-on identity crisis. Farmers, chefs, and shoppers would be lost in a culinary jungle where every bite is a surprise. Bon appétit, and good luck.